This is truly alarming, and this time, I can no longer remain silent. There's a food that's praised as a gift from God and considered a natural tonic, consumed daily by countless Koreans over 50 to promote health, strengthen their immune system, and get a good night's sleep. They often take a warm glass of honey water in the morning and another spoonful in the evening to warm their stomachs and support their heart and kidneys. However, what's almost unexpected is that if used incorrectly or combined with a few seemingly innocuous foods, this tonic can actually gradually damage kidney function, increase nighttime sleepiness, and trigger premature ejaculation. Even if you eat your usual meals, you might wake up feeling heavy-headed and exhausted, and your doctor might tell you, out of the blue, that your kidneys are weakened. Yes, I'm talking about honey. It's not that honey itself is bad, but how we use it, what we eat with it, when we eat it, and how much we eat each day. It determines whether it becomes a new medicine that helps the kidneys or a double-edged sword that unknowingly weakens them. In my clinic, I often hear many patients over 60 say the same thing. Doctor, it's me. I live a very healthy life. I don't smoke, I rarely drink, and I drink honey water every day for my health. So why do my recent tests show weak kidneys? I have to urinate 3 or 4 times a night, and when I wake up in the morning, my body feels heavy as a rock, my legs feel stiff, and I'm so tired. A detailed survey of their eating habits and daily routines reveals a frightening commonality. Almost everyone consumes honey, but they combine it with certain foods that put a double burden on their kidneys. Consider this. Oysters are a natural sugar that is rapidly absorbed into the bloodstream. In our 30s and 40s, our kidneys are strong and our blood vessels are elastic, so these mistakes can be tolerated for years and remain unnoticed. However, after 50, our heart, blood vessels, and kidneys have all been burdened for decades. If we are careless and follow the wrong nutritional guidelines, the consequences don't appear overnight. They quietly accumulate over months and years. By the time symptoms become apparent, kidney function has already deteriorated rapidly, making recovery difficult. The danger is that many people still believe that natural is harmless, that the more honey you eat, the better, and that it's safe to eat with any food. However, research and clinical experience show that 3 foods that are very familiar to Koreans and eaten daily in many households, when consumed with honey, force the kidneys to filter out more sugar and other indigestible substances, disrupting the body's water balance and forcing them to work overtime all night. In today's video, I'll clearly explain what those 3 foods are, why combining them with honey can be dangerous for your kidneys, and how you can recognize distress signals from your kidneys early. I'll also reveal 3 golden food combinations that, when consumed with water, won't harm your kidneys, but will warm your body, boost your immunity, and promote deep sleep. At the end of the video, I'll provide clear guidelines for adjusting your own habits and informing your family, including who should consume honey, who should recommend it, the appropriate dosage, and the risks of improper intake. All of this information is based on carefully selected knowledge from internal medicine experts and Korean medical sources, and I'll explain it in a simple, concise manner so you can apply it immediately. If you consume honey daily, or if you have parents or relatives over 50 who consume honey as a tonic, today's video will be a valuable gift to you and your family, helping you avoid future illnesses. Before you begin, please subscribe and like. It motivates me to share more comparisons between expensive medicine and living a long and healthy life. And if you're watching this video or interested in health, please leave a comment with a number 1. I'm very curious about where your health journey begins. So, what are the 3 foods that countless Korean families eat every day with honey, thinking they're good for you, but are actually quietly gnawing away at your kidneys? I'm sure at least one of them is in your or your family's refrigerator right now. The first mistake, and one that many people make every morning, is eating honey with biusu. It sounds incredibly healthy. A slice of warm soy milk for cardiovascular health, and a slice of honey-smeared bread for energy. Many seniors in Korea have completely changed their traditional breakfast routine to this, believing they're doing a great job of maintaining their health. But a closer look at it from a scientific perspective reveals that this combination is not a good fit at all. Honey contains a variety of natural organic acids. These compounds impart a slightly sour taste to honey and aid digestion when used properly. Conversely, soy milk contains a large amount of plant-based protein. Protein is a crucial nutrient for building muscle and maintaining health, but it also requires significant work from the intestines, organs, and kidneys to process. If you drink soy milk and then consume it directly, the acidic content of the soy milk can coagulate some of the protein, forming small, difficult-to-digest lumps. Younger people have robust digestive systems, active intestinal motility, and abundant digestive enzyme secretion. This can cause temporary abdominal discomfort or bloating that then disappears. However, after age 50, the stomach and intestines slow down, enzyme secretion decreases, and the mucous membranes thin. If these protein lumps are not fully digested, they can cause bloating, belching, and even mild diarrhea. Older people are prone to dehydration, and repeated diarrhea or indigestion can lead to even greater fluid needs, dizziness, and blood pressure fluctuations. That's not all. Anything not absorbed by the body must pass through the kidneys and be filtered and excreted. Imagine tension as a water purifier filter that's been in use for a long time. The more debris there is, the more the machine has to work, generates heat, and breaks down faster. Instead of allowing the kidneys to function smoothly, we're forcing them to simultaneously process difficult-to-digest semi-proteins, acids, and sugars. There may be no symptoms for a day or two, but if you maintain this habit, your kidneys' cleansing function will gradually become more balanced without you even realizing it. Then, when your test results start to worsen and your doctor tells you your kidneys are weakened, you finally start to reconsider the breakfast you once thought was so healthy. The second mistake is tying honey to persimmons, an autumn trap that many people unknowingly fall into. In Korea, sweet persimmons, dried persimmons, and dried persimmons are a bright spot in almost every home during the fall and winter. Many seniors have the habit of eating a few pieces of persimmon after dinner and then drinking a glass of warm honey water, claiming it warms their stomach, aids digestion, and promotes sleep. While this sounds quite reasonable, from a scientific perspective, this combination isn't so simple. Persimmons contain a compound called tannin, which creates the characteristic broad flavor you experience when eating unripe or some persimmons. The acidity itself isn't bad. In fact, when consumed in moderation, it supports antioxidant activity and helps eliminate harmful substances from the body. However, the problem arises when tannin meets iron, a mineral found in honey. When these two substances meet in the stomach, they tend to bind together and form insoluble precipitates. These precipitates act as small lumps in the stomach, hindering iron absorption, leaving the body vulnerable to fever, dizziness, and fatigue. They also serve as foci for other substances to adhere to, potentially forming stones over time. With a healthy digestive tract, plenty of water, and regular exercise, this can be eliminated from a body. However, in older people, intestinal peristalsis slows, digestive juice secretion decreases, and kidneys weaken, reducing their ability to remove these deposits. I once heard a heartfelt story from a 68-year-old woman named Ji Hyen. She simply ate a few pieces of persimmon and a spoonful of oyster every evening to calm her stomach, only to discover kidney stones during a test. After asking her doctor about her eating habits in detail and comparing them with ultrasound and laboratory results, they were able to find a link between long-term consumption of persimmon and honey and various stone conditions. Of course, not everyone who eats persimmon and honey develops stones, but for those with weak digestive systems, cloudy urine, painful urination, or poor kidney function, it's definitely not a beneficial combination. A small habit of eating out of boredom can sometimes quietly burden the kidneys and urinary tract. The third mistake is eating honey with sweet potatoes at dinner time. It may seem harmless, even healthy, but for those over 50, especially those with weakened kidneys, it's a combination that requires extreme caution. Sweet potatoes have long been considered a good food for the elderly. They provide a long-lasting feeling of hope, aid bowel movements, and don't spike blood sugar levels like other snacks. Therefore, Many Koreans, especially retired individuals like Seo Jun Orshin, have the habit of eating a roasted sweet potato and a spoonful of sweet potato instead of dinner. They believe this helps them feel better, lose weight, and is good for their health. However, the body's actual reaction is more complex than we realize. Sweet potatoes contain a significant amount of starch and insoluble fiber. During the day, when we move and are active, our digestive system is active, allowing these starches and fibers to pass more easily. However, when we lie down on our backs at night and fall asleep, our intestines slow down and undigested food ferments in the stomach, making it easier to digest, causing heartburn. Those who eat sweet potatoes often experience discomfort, such as bloating, flatulence, and abdominal discomfort. In this situation, honey is rich in natural sugars and is classified as a warming food in Oriental medicine. It is also a good choice for those prone to gas. Combining sweet potatoes and honey with honey. The sugar in the honey acts as a mosquito net for intestinal bacteria, intensifying the fermentation process and producing more gas. Many people experience a rumbling, heaviness in their stomachs after eating sweet potatoes and honey in the evening, tossing and turning, and difficulty falling into a deep sleep. This isn't just a simple abdominal discomfort. It forces the body to rebalance its fluid and mineral balance. The kidneys, which have been working all day, now have to work harder at night to filter out excess substances. Those with healthy kidney function can tolerate this for a while. However, for those with early signs of kidney failure, this is like overworking an old machine and can accelerate kidney function decline over time. If you frequently consume sweet potatoes and honey in the evening and wake up feeling heavy, slightly swollen, with cloudy urine, or feeling tired despite adequate urination, it's highly likely that this seemingly healthy diet isn't working for you. This doesn't mean you should completely give up sweet potatoes or honey. It does mean you should reevaluate the timing and combination of your intake and listen to your body's responses to reduce the burden on your intestines and, especially, your kidneys. I'm sharing this not to scare you, but to help you better understand your body. After 50, we no longer have the robust stomachs we had in our 30s, nor the kidneys that functioned as efficiently as in our 20s. Therefore, even a small food or combination can make a huge difference to our health. Honey remains a precious medicine if used properly. However, if you make the mistakes I mentioned earlier, honey itself can become a double-edged sword, harming your kidneys, the organs that work silently for you year-round. You might be wondering, is honey completely harmful? Should we just cut it out altogether? The answer is no. Honey is still a precious gift from nature, but whether it benefits or harms depends on how we use it. So, in the next section, we'll decipher the benefits and risks of honey. Oysters are a precious gift from nature. However, if used improperly, they can put a significant strain on your kidneys, liver, and even your blood sugar. Younger people can better withstand this. However, after age 50, all systems in the body, especially the kidneys, the longest excretory system, begin to weaken daily. If we don't adjust to our current physical condition and continue to consume honey as we did in our youth, we can easily experience adverse effects. I once treated a patient in his early 60s who lived in Gwangju. He drank 2 glasses of warm honey water every day and took an extra spoonful in the evening to help him sleep. However, he was completely unaware that he had early-stage diabetes. As a result, his blood sugar fluctuated irregularly, and his kidneys were exhausted from filtering out the excess sugar. Unfortunately, this patient was not a case of diabetes. Remember, even though honey is a natural sugar, it is still sugar. If consumed in excess or without sufficient water, oysters can thicken the blood, hinder digestive function, and easily cause constipation, a seemingly minor but very dangerous symptom for those with a history of kidney disease. A nephrologist at Seoul National University Hospital stated that he does not prohibit the consumption of oysters in the elderly. However, he always cautions that they should only be consumed if you fully understand your health. Consuming honey at the wrong time can weaken the kidneys much more quickly. As you can see, even good things need moderation. Don't let a spoonful of sweet honey become a double-edged sword. In the following section, we will explain how consuming it correctly can significantly improve your body's health. Thus, we understand that honey is not the culprit, but rather how it is used. So, what practical benefits does honey, when used correctly, provide for immune health, good sleep, and kidney health, especially for those over 50? First, honey strengthens the natural immune system. After middle age, the activity of our body's warriors, such as white blood cells, decreases, much like an army that has been through countless battles and no longer has the energy it once had. This leaves the body vulnerable to colds, bronchitis, and other infectious diseases. Honey contains many antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds. These compounds, like honey, protect cells from damage, making the immune system less vulnerable. Some nutritional studies have shown that when older adults consistently consumed a small amount of honey daily, the frequency of respiratory infections during the cold season significantly decreased. Second, honey soothes coughs and throats. In winter or dry weather, many people experience prolonged coughs, phlegm-filled coughs, and a sore throat even with the slightest word. As honey passes through the throat, it forms a thin film, smoothing and softening the affected mucous membranes, providing soothing relief. Adding a spoonful of honey to warm water and a few thinly sliced pear slices makes for a drink that's not only easy to drink, but also soothes a sore throat, loosens phlegm, and relieves coughs without resorting to cough syrup or cough medicine. Third, honey promotes deep sleep. Many people over 50 complain of tossing and turning every night, struggling to fall asleep deeply, and waking up in the middle of the night and struggling to fall back asleep. Drinking a glass of warm milk with a little honey about 30 minutes before bed can help you relax further. Milk provides nutrients that soothe muscle and nervous system tension, and oysters help regulate your body's circadian rhythm, signaling to your body that it's time to rest. This helps you fall asleep more easily and reduces nighttime surprises. Fourth, honey reduces cell damage and helps prevent some chronic diseases. Our bodies are constantly exposed to free radicals, which are produced during the process of eating, breathing, and stress. If left untreated, these toxins can destroy cellular structures, accelerate aging, and increase the risk of developing dangerous diseases. The antioxidant properties of honey cleanse these toxins, reducing the burden on blood vessels, heart, and kidneys. Fifth, honey helps wounds heal more quickly and is especially beneficial for diabetics. Both traditional Korean and modern medicine have long documented its mild antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties. When applied topically, honey helps keep wounds clean and reduces the risk of prolonged infection, especially for diabetics who experience slow wound healing. Of course, if the wound is large or severe, you should always seek medical attention. Honey is only a supplemental measure. Finally, honey is a gentle yet effective natural energy source. After waking up, you may experience a slight decrease in blood pressure and blood sugar, which may alleviate mild fatigue, and difficulty concentrating. A spoonful of honey mixed in warm water provides an easily absorbed energy boost without the sudden brain stimulation of strong coffee or energy drinks. For those who feel chronically thirsty or are constantly waking up, this could be a small habit that, if practiced consistently in moderation, can bring about positive change. While it's important to know that honey can be beneficial to your health, choosing the right honey for your age and physical condition is a completely different matter. While every bottle on the supermarket shelf may say GM Chanyanian on its label, the actual quality, origin, and even type of honey can vary significantly. Especially after the age of 50, when the kidneys, liver, and stomach have suffered for years, extra care is needed. Not all types of honey are suitable, and expensive honey isn't necessarily good for you. It has a light yellow color, a mild aroma, and doesn't crystallize like sugar, making it easy to consume. Acacia honey is also quite rich in minerals, including potassium and, to a lesser extent, magnesium. Potassium helps maintain fluid balance and stabilize blood pressure, while iron is essential for hematopoiesis, and magnesium helps muscles and nerves relax. From an Eastern medicine perspective, Acacia honey has a cooling nature, so drinking it regularly in small amounts can help reduce mental stress and promote sleep, making it ideal for those who suffer from insomnia, excessive thinking, or heart palpitations. The third type is wildflower honey, also known as japa honey in some regions. This honey is harvested from a variety of flowers in the wild, so its ingredients are quite balanced, neither too hot nor too cold. Therefore, it is suitable for those with a weak constitution, poor diet, and those who easily feel cold but cannot tolerate extremely spicy or hot foods. Drinking a little wildflower honey mixed with warm water warms the stomach and improves digestion, especially during seasonal changes. Finally, forest honey has a bright color, a subtle aroma, and a mild flavor. It dissolves easily in water. Elderly people often dislike strong flavors or find them unpleasant for their stomachs. Therefore, this type of honey is ideal for daily use. For those who frequently experience heartburn or indigestion, this honey is often considered more comforting than other honeys with strong flavors, provided it is consumed properly and when not too full. Whichever type you choose, there are some important points to keep in mind.